Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
And I'm your guest, Jeff Stevens.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
And I'm your co-host, Ian.
This podcast was created to provide you, our heroes, with new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure.
Our show may not be suitable for young children, but neither is our D&D games. Oh no.
All right, so we got a really exciting episode for you guys today. As we've already talked, you can see Jeff Stevens, the man, the myth, the legend, is joining us once again, so thank you. Moving on to our main topic, which is really why we're all here, right? We're here after the booty with this scallywag. So is he a scallywag? Are you a scallywag or a scurvy dog? What's the difference?
I'll be whatever you want to call me, Justin.
Oh, nice. Sounds like my wife.
Daddy.
I'm really excited for our main topic, Jeff. It has been too long since we've had you on since you released this. You've actually released 3 copies of this, or 3 versions of this. You got your Savage Seas, Savage Seas 2s, and what is Savage Seas Encounters of the Savage Seas 3 free? Is that what it is?
Yep.
So
I did a little play on words, 3 free rhymed, so I scratched out the 3 and put a free there. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. So first of all, thank you for coming on the show to talk to us all about Encounters on the Savage Seas. I think that this product is absolutely amazing, and I love water combat. I think it's something that we don't see enough of. So, the fuck just.
I think it was on the cards.
Oh, I thought it was a critter running around over
No.
there.
One of your player
Came in
turns.
here. I love this sort of encounter on the high seas type adventures. It's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed Seven Seas. I think that's kind of my jams. That's pretty good. So before we get too much into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those who are just tuning in for the first time? Give them a quick once-over about the man, the myth, the legend.
The all-time
Sure.
power supplements that we give away.
Yeah, I started playing D&D back in the 70s and 80s and quit playing right around 1994 after I graduated from college, thinking that I was done throwing the dice and changing my hit points or leveling up my characters. And then a couple of years ago, my brother comes to me and says, "Hey, some of my buddies from work are going to get together and start playing D&D. You want to join in?" I'm like, "No, okay, why not? Let's give it a shot." So I started with a half-orc ranger in that campaign. Had a lot of fun with it. And then once that campaign was done, we moved to 5e. And I had never DM'd before. Somebody had said, "Well, who wants to DM next?" I said, "Okay, let me try it." So I built my own campaign there based off of Metallica songs. The song titles were all the inspiration for all the encounters and the adventures. And it went great. And I said, "Well, I've got some of these things noted out enough to where I could probably write these." And then I found the DMs Guild, and perfect outlet for that type of thing.
Right.
If you are a DM out there and you keep really good notes and map things out, put it down onto paper, pick up one of the adventures out there on the DMs Guild, figure out the layout for it, and put it out there for sale. You might make a couple bucks off of it. So that's how I started into this whole publishing on the DMs Guild and creating content, just by saying, "Hey, I'm going to give this a shot," and it's taken off from there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I had to ask. If you base a campaign off of creating content off of the names of rock songs, have you seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventures?
I have not.
Okay.
Every end of those episodes seasons has got like a rock star, literal American rock.
Half the characters are named
Something.
after rock bands and rock legends, so...
Cool.
I did want to say that if you haven't checked out DMs Guild, people, you really need to. There is a affiliate link right on our website. Make sure you use that. We get a little cut of it if you do decide to buy anything. But it is an amazing resource. Now, don't get me wrong. There's tens of thousands of pieces of garbage on there, but man, there is some fucking pure gold as well. In fact, I actually just start at if you click on the top sale items, those things are there for a reason. They're amazing. They're great. They show up. There's so much stuff on there. You got to give it a shot. I love the rating system. It really helps give you an idea what to expect. But even some of the stuff that I find is kind of a pooper has given me really good ideas. So I feel like there's always something there, even if it's somebody like me that originally writes something and has to get rid of it because it was garbage.
Yeah, you can use most anything you find on there. I mean, even if a magic item is written poorly, you still take the idea and turn it into something that you like yourself.
Yep,
There's
exactly.
tons of ways to use the material that's on the DM's Guild.
But man, there's such good stuff there. It is a powerful, powerful resource.
There's some amazing stuff. Yeah, and the Baldur's Gate campaign setting or adventure path or whatever they just released out there is doing really well too.
Yeah.
That's from the guys who actually did the Baldur's Gate games for PC.
Nice.
Did you know that?
Well, congratulations. Thank you, Jeff. You just bankrupted me because I don't know how much crap's out there, but now I got to go buy it all.
It's only $20.
Oh, that's awesome because that was one of my favorite games. That's why I was so stoked for the new one coming out, which is why I know I'm going to be writing some stuff on Illithids and what is it, the Far Realm? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Because I know as soon as that game comes out, shit's going to be big. Anyways.
Yes, do you have a memorable D&D moment on the high seas?
That was really good.
Do you think so?
That's not bad, actually. Yeah.
Arr.
The only thing I've ever done on the high seas is in the campaign that I was running.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, his wife commented about the him spending money just now. She's like, "I'll hide your wall before you get back to the house."
Uh-oh. I didn't know she was watching.
The wife was watching.
Justin, do you have any DM's Guild credit?
I do.
Because you could use that to buy it.
I that's kind of what I thought, but I don't think she knew that.
Oh,
Say what?
no, they took that privilege away. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
thank you. Yes, yeah. I that's what I heard. Anyway, we didn't mean. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off. But
Sorry,
they
I
just
thought I
started-
said something with high seas and there was a joke there.
the high. See,
No,
it's legal in this state
The
now.
campaign that I ran, I had naval battle between their ship and a bad guy's ship, and it went really well. Of course, none of my battles go as well as I want them to because I always want to do more damage to my players, make it more epic, more I'm hanging on for dear life type thing. But they, of course, they did their spells and whatever and threw it all off and was throwing dice around, and acting pissed off and everything. But good for them though.
Actually, like the most recent high sea encounter I had was like a couple weeks back. We were playing like a Horde of the Dragon Queen in my Saturday game, and our ship got attacked by a kraken, and all the players are trying to fight the priest that summoned it and the kraken itself. Whereas my dwarf cleric, we're level 4 by the way,
Oh yeah, I was trying to fight that thing on my own.
and different game.
Oh.
And my cleric ran over. I'm like, I'm lowering the boat into the water. And at first I was like, you coward! 2 or 3 rounds later when the ship has almost no HP. So how's that boat going?
That sounds like when we played Curse of Strahd. Have you guys gone through Curse of Strahd yet?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
In the room where there's all the dark gifts, where the power and all that. Well, 3 of our guys just went insane in there. The rest of us are like backing out. They're getting all these dark powers and going, because it may not be written that way, but our DM just let them keep on getting powers and basically mutated into these gargoyle type creatures. So everybody else, the 3 of us, were like backing out of there, like, we're done. They're done.
Nope.
We're leaving them.
Nope.
Sometimes you just got to know when to quit, and I think there's some people that don't, unfortunately.
Like many things.
Yeah, I like the fact you did the boat versus was it so. Were they doing did you have cannons and stuff like that too, or?
I did not have cannons. Basically, just the magic users were the cannons. If you think about it that way.
Yeah, that's actually. That's how I did it when I watched Avatar. And in Avatar, they got the flying ships, but instead of having normal cannons, they have firebenders shooting out the sides through the little things, and it's basically fire warfare. So I've done the same thing with spellcasters.
I briefly pictured in my head your ship having 2 spellcasters. One creates a two-way portal, one on your ship, one on the other, and then he casts meteor on the other side.
Oh no! Can you do that? Can you cast the spell through there?
I'll see why not.
Damn, that's right. Anyway, so that sounds really cool. It is unfortunate that they messed up your plans. I blew up a ship once and just ran them over. It was pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah, Justin's gonna piss me off with that because I'm DMing his next campaign for him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna screw him over so much. He's gonna want to go that way, and I'm gonna go this way." It's the first time I've really.
Although, let's be
Done
fair
it.
here. Which player are you worried about the most causing chaos? I like how he's pointing at
No,
me.
I look forward to seeing what you're gonna do because you're pretty clever with your character. Justin wants to dick around with me. I know he does.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, back on topic.
And also, so he's like, grabbing hook how many times?
Jeff, can you tell us about encounters on the Savage Seas and kind of how they came to be?
Yeah. So the first product I ever created, as far as the encounters line goes, was Encounters in the Savage Frontier, which was kind of inspired from the Storm King's Thunder, because there's this big Savage Frontier area out there, and so that was a really big learning curve, learning project, and worked with Tony Patrick on that, whose Journey to the Underdark series is great. If you don't have those, pick those up, because those are perfect. Those kind of those products inspired what I did with this. And so from there, I did Savage Cities and Savage Wilderness. I was always thinking, well, what would I do next? You know, what was another area that I could really expand on? And so Savage Seas was always in the back of my head. It was just, how was I going to do it? And started working on it probably about a year ago or so, asking for writing, cover art, the maps. There was a lot of maps that I had commissioned. The one for Badu was just spectacular. Erin Harvey did a fantastic job. I don't know if you've ever seen any of her work on Twitter, but
And
yeah, her maps are great.
And I do have to comment, the cover art is actually kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the. I made that a show note because I want to hear more about that when we get a second.
And actually, the contributors that gave some of the scenarios in there, we've actually interviewed a few of them on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what's funny is with the DMs Guild Creators Club on Facebook and the whole D&D community with the DMs Guild itself, is there's a lot of people that publish on the DMs Guild, but there are very few that I think actually take advantage of the Facebook and resources within that area,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with the Creators Guild, because people in there will help you, will talk to you, will join your projects. You know, I can reach out to ask for writers, say, I'll pay you this much if you contribute this to my project. They're like, yeah, okay. You know, and it's just such a tight-knit community within there that everybody helps themselves and helps promote other projects. And I think that's really great. I don't think you find that in any other RPG setting, you know, like Cthulhu or anything like that. I don't know. I'm not in any of those. If there are fan clubs for those, I don't know. But, you know, as far as all the help and everything that goes within the creators circle for the Dungeon Masters Guild, it's just spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll go in there and post my thing. Hey, I need help finishing this.
Yeah, you might get some takers. Who knows?
So you got to this point where you've released multiples of these encounters. They're obviously doing pretty well, or you wouldn't continue doing them, I would imagine.
Yeah, with Savage Seas 1, I had a lot of material left over because I didn't want to make it a 400-page book and make it too expensive for people to pick up.
Right.
You know, for people, you know, I try to keep them around $10. And so I thought, well, I could just have some more writers contribute to Savage Seas 2 and put that together. And then I still had a couple pieces left over, so I hired some more writing. And then I released Savage Seas 3 free, which is kind of like a way to say thank you for supporting the other products.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to download it for free, you can. It's set up as pay what you want. If you want to make a donation to support, you know, my cause as far as writing, my career. But it's entirely, if you want to download that sucker for free, go right ahead.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually went ahead and have linked your product, right? And they are in our show notes. I've also linked it in the Twitch chat.
Cool.
So hopefully you'll see a sale or two.
Hey, if I see 300 downloads today, I'm happy.
Well,
When I
be
released
happy.
Villains and Layers 3 free, which there's also a product for that, I put it on Reddit and I had 3,000 downloads in a day.
Nice.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Well, hopefully
They're
that
mostly
did
free.
that drive traffic to your other products by chance?
I did see a small increase in some of the other ones, not $3,000, you know, purchases, but you know, 10, 20, something like that, you know,
Right.
which is cool. That's fine.
Very cool. So you mentioned. So it sounds like I was gonna ask if your schedule had anything to do with the salt marsh water theme stuff coming out, but it sounds like you already had the stuff in development long before that became a thing.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
the release of that, has there been has sales and stuff, have you gone up because it fits the theme?
No, it's slowed down since the beginning, but there's so much salt marsh and nautical
Right.
stuff on the DMs Guild now that, you know, it's still doing okay.
Mm.
But yeah, I had already started all of this, and then when I heard salt marsh was coming out, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm getting into a setting that might benefit from my product. But no, I had to start way out on this one because I did commission so much art for it. with the map of Badu,
Mm-hmm.
some of the extra ships that are in there, and some of the NPC art and magic item art and everything. I went all out on this one
Yeah.
because I
Well,
wanted to make it really special.
yeah, and that's actually leads into the next question. The art on this cover. We briefly talked about the artist. Is this something you went in with a mind of, this is what I want, and the art is based on that, or is this something you gave freedom to and built off of it? Because holy shit, it is amazing. This giant, the city is on top of a turtle. Is that a
Yeah,
dragon turtle?
that's a giant dragon turtle, so it's even bigger than a regular giant turtle or dragon turtle.
Nice.
So how did you? So can you tell us how you came up with Badu and what was the thought process in that?
And that made some Doctor Strange vibes going there.
When
Yeah.
it first, the initial start of this was me speaking with Aaron Harvey about commissioning this map of the village, the town on the back of a giant turtle, and so she started working on that and putting it together, and she just kept adding to it and making it look great, and the colors for the map. And so once the map was completed, I sent it to Peter Penev in Bulgaria, and he's the one who actually who did the cover art. So Aaron did the map, and then Peter put the cover art together based on her map.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's man, it's so gorgeous. If you guys got to see this thing. Go to our show notes or go right into our website, critacademy.com, and click on the episode link when it releases, because you gotta see this, or just go right to DM's Guild and buy it.
Yeah, and Peter also did the map for the second one, also the Living Sea or the Living Storm map. Or I'm sorry, the cover for the second Savage Seas, the Living Storm.
They're both amazing.
Yeah,
This one really just, I love, you got like the wizard guy holding up his hands like he's fending off this thing that's about to fucking steamroll him like a train.
that's Vezra Nos. He actually wants to take control of Badu.
Ooh. So is
And
he
Badu is the name of the dragon turtle and the township.
see, I didn't realize it was the name of the dragon turtle. I knew it was the name of the town.
Yep,
Oh,
Badu is the name of the turtle too.
oh man, it's so awesome. It looks like he's about to get steamrolled.
Right?
What are you pointing at?
The chat.
What about it?
So you got a link to Jeff's own site?
Oh, do you have a website, Jeff?
I do not have a website. No,
You can
I
go to.
thought about putting one together, but I
Oh,
don't have one.
I think if you go to critacademy.com under the sponsor section, the link for Jeff goes right to his like browse section that has all of his stuff that he's involved in.
That's cool.
Um,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem. So
Do you have any favorite encounters in the encounters of the Savage Seas 1 or 2?
There are a lot of favorite encounters in those. I mean, the writers did a great job putting everything together. I mean, you've noted too here, I think, Undine and Undone, which Sean Marwin put together for me. That was great. Brimley Farr did the Broken City Shattered Mind, which you also listed. I really like the interaction that my brother and I created on Badu, because we've built out the township that's sitting on top of that turtle, with NPCs, stores, hotels, rumor mills, possible quests and adventures coming off of that island itself. So that's basically a location you just drop in your own campaign and you use if you want to.
that's one of the things that I really like about it. I love the content that you've put together here. You mentioned we got here the Undine Done is a really good example. So for those of you that are listening to this and want to pick this up, we're gonna pick a few to really discuss why we like them, to give you an overarching idea of what is in here. Like the reason I picked the Undine Undone is because I think it really sets itself to involving the players in a unique way, where you have a monster, an Ifrit, if I'm not mistaken, coming and asking the party, "Hey, my lover has been captured and taken underwater, and for obvious reasons he can't go and help himself, so he needs the party to go in rescue him." And I think that is such a amazing way to utilize the fact that they are traversing water in a way that I don't think I've ever had an adventure where the monsters have come and asked the players for help themselves. And I think that makes for a very interesting encounter idea.
Yeah, plus the way he dealt with the eels. I don't know if you if you remember that part going underwater. There's like so many electric eels that the party can't possibly fend them off as far as combat wise. So he creates they have to succeed on dexterity checks to avoid them, and then if they fail their dexterity check, they get tagged with electricity damage. So it's avoiding combat, but still putting you in an encounter or a situation where you could take damage if you fail your checks. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Ian, you picked out the Hidden Cove. Did you want to tell us why you think that that's such a one of the good choices to discuss? Why you like about it?
I like the Hidden Cove just because I love combat, as you very well know,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it gave a lot of interesting combat opportunities. And also love the fact too when you first enter the base, you're like, "Huh, there is nothing here," and then space mercenaries teleport in.
Yeah, Tony Petrecca did a great job with that one too.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome. Just like they just teleport in.
yeah.
Well,
Like you thought you think the base is empty, but then you trigger the alarms, and basically from across. And then, like I said, space mercenaries then teleport in. I'm like, huh, the alarm went off. What's going on here? And you're like, oh crap.
That sounds awesome.
I know.
Uh,
and Jeff, you of course know more about that than I do. Do you want to give some additional insight on that?
On the Hidden Cove of the Space Pirates.
Yeah.
Tony is a big Spelljammer fan, I think, and so he tries to, even though Spelljammer is not a setting that we can write, you can still make reference to it.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's done with this one. And I love Tony's writing style. He it's not as how do I want to say this, mechanical as mine, straight line. He's a lot his stuff is fun to read. All of his encounters and adventures are a great read, just because he makes them fun to read.
Yeah, and that definitely comes through, not just through his material, but a lot of the writers. It seems like you have a knack for gathering some amazing writers. I don't know if that means you've got like 1,000 extra of these sitting around because you've filtered out and picked the best ones. But man, all the encounters are really great, and I love that. The one thing that I love about these is you actually put. It looks like on many of them, like how to scale them up, right? Like in the adventure piece, like so you can run these things easily at different different tiers without having to try to figure it out yourself, which I think is a really cool thing to do.
That's one of the goals with it too, is to provide you with something that you can use multiple times if you need to. If you run it with one group at level 5, another group with level 10, you've got that ability, the flexibility to still use this book more than once.
Like I do like the fact that in your opening table of contents, they give a level range for each adventure. They give a type for each one, be it like roleplay, exploration, combat, and so on and so forth. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Thanks.
Ian, would you do me a favor and capture all the stream chat so before this is done, so that we have this guy's recommendations?
Copy and paste.
Yeah, that's fine. Shadzar is actually giving us some really good insight into how we can improve the video quality of our stream. So I want to thank you very much. We're new to the streaming on live streaming thing, so any insight that can help us improve that is awesome. So thank you very much. If you're concerned about the audio quality, we're recording on this end that gets uploaded as the podcast, not what's caught on Twitch. So definitely head on over to crickacademy.com to check that out. I didn't realize that feed was like that. I don't generally have that problem, but I save it on this end too. So, a lot of work has gone into this. The other one that really jumped out at me, what can you tell me about the Broken City and the Shattered Mind encounter?
That's by Brimley Farr, and Brimley's a great writer. I think he should be writing novels.
Really?
Oh, just the stuff he's put together is just really good writing, and really evocative at times, and just good stuff. But in this case, he created a backstory and to how a magic item was created, and so the whole backstory of the magic item is maybe a page or 2 pages long, and it's taking you through this whole story as to what's going on with this mind flayer in this city of Merfolk, and how she's corrupting them, and they see her as a goddess from the or an angel from the Underdark, because if devils in the Merfolk society are from above, then angels must be from below, and she came from the Underdark below, and the priests are translating her words for them, and so she coerces them into feeding her their brains, and eventually she dies. But in a last effort, she does a ritual by spilling her own brain into some kind of a bowl, which becomes this magic item.
Dang.
Good
It's
God.
pretty wild.
You summed that up way better than I could. I read that and I was like, this is some fucking murder horror flick stuff going on here.
Yeah, so Brimley is the co-writer of Madhouse of Tasha's Kiss.
Ooh.
So
We
he did a
love
lot
that
of
one.
the interior stuff with that. I told him this is what I want here and here and here. He put those together, and I think we all realize how good that turned out. I mean,
Yes.
he did a great job.
When we had the one-shot onslaught on, and we mentioned we got to the part of the episode where we give away your product, and like I should go back and snapshot their face because it was like a look on on their face. They're like, "Oh my god, I love Jeff," and I'm like, "We do too," and we were all nerding out.
I think they're in the chat. They were earlier.
Were they? So. Yes, Savage Seas is in we haven't covered this yet, right? We just ended here.
Yeah.
So with all the work that you've done, do you have a favorite part of creating the Savage Seas? Something that really you enjoyed and really stood out to you? That's kind of your.
It's so hard to just to pick out a favorite part. I mean, from asking writers to write and then getting that acceptance and saying, yes, I'm going to write for you. It's like, yeah, I've got this writer on board. There were some writers I've worked with in this one, Teo Sabadea, which he's written for WotC before. Sean Merwin is a big D&D. He's written for WotC before. And all these other people, Hannah Rose, and then the writers that I typically write with Tony Patrica, JVC Perry, just so many, Alex Klippinger. I had Ann Gregerson write for me too. Just getting those acceptances, saying, yeah, I've got time to do it. And then to know they're going to bring me back something that's going to be fun to read,
Right.
and then taking that and then building the art for it and the maps if needed, and then putting in the layout and going through editing. I mean, the whole process is a lot of fun. So there's no real favorite part of the creating process. Probably I would have to say clicking the button that says publish on the DMs Guild is the best part of the whole.
Oh, sure.
I know that feeling. Like maybe it's just me. I kind of get nervous when I get ready to do that too.
Look at the
Oh,
point
I
you're
do
just-
too.
Well, it's not really like that. There's a nervousness that comes with the unknown. Like, is this something people are gonna love or people are gonna hate? Is this something that the first review is gonna be a 1?
Right, right. Oh, no, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And you're waiting constantly to see that first sale. When's it going to hit? I need to make that bestsellers ribbon. When's it going to hit? 2 sales. Nope, this isn't going to do it. And I'll disclose right here with you that this was not a cheap project to put together.
I'd imagine.
Savage Seas 1 cost me $3,000 to create.
Holy God.
So that's why I said I wanted to do it right. So I've been able to, fund that with my DMs Guild earnings and pay my writers a respectable rate, and my artists and my cartographers. And so that's why when I did it, I wanted to do it right. And so I put the money into it to try and do it the best that I could.
You said you made that with your DM's Guild fund?
With my I've been publishing since 2016. So I've got over 57 products on the DMs Guild that earn a little bit of money every day. So
Awesome.
Yeah, well, if you fuckers would help me actually write more. Actually, I can't say it to Ian no more because Ian is helping. But you want to get on that? Maybe we can, in 2 years, have 57 items.
It's like,
You-
I know
you
it
want
should
me
be at
to
least
help
one
you
skill.
write
But it
shit?
can't be garbage, though.
Then you don't want me to help you write shit.
No, but you got to also keep in mind that Jeff is like the top echelon of the DMs Guild content as well.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. You draw
I don't
stuff.
know.
I occasionally write stuff.
Did you say I don't know?
I said I don't know.
I was gonna say if you go to DMs Guild, I guarantee if you start just clicking on stuff, his name's attached to something on any one of those pages.
I've been very lucky in my career here, so I'm very happy with that, and that's why I give some stuff back for free, and
Yep.
and that's why I also want to pay writers a respectable rate for writing for me. So just trying to help people get on in this business.
Sure.
Actually,
That opera?
they're trying to catch a fly, so you guys look like a bunch of doofuses on the camera.
It's a skeeter.
I hate
Whack
this.
it off.
I thought about it.
Insight.
So,
Yeah.
I really love this product. I love all your products, actually. I
Thank you.
highly recommend you guys check out this product. If you feel like you need more of a preview, pick out the Savage Seas 3. It gives you a lot of good insight into what to expect. I think there's 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 in that one.
And it comes with different. Well, let me see if I can open up here and actually. Here we go. Well, why don't actually it's your baby. Why don't you tell us what comes in the free one that they can get a taste of what to expect in your amazing products.
Sure. Paige Lightman, she's one of the administrators for the 5e Facebook page. And she's also big with D&D and the Concreated Content AL stuff. Wrote a adventure called, I can't remember what it's called now, but it actually tags off of, I think, Waterdeep, where there's some type of dragon encounter that lives underwater that you can go explore in that adventure. So she built that adventure for that piece in Waterdeep. And then Emily Smith did an underwater Flan type thing, where we have the map of Flan underwater and a little adventure through there. J.H. Anderson did one for Treasure Trap. Cameron Ackerson did one for The Bloody Bootleg, which is like a ghost pirate on a ghost ship whose vampire wife is in a coffin underneath, and he wants blood. So there's a bunch of different things in that product that I think you'd be able to find some use for in your games.
Yeah, and it is a pay what you want. So if you pick it up and you really get value out of it and you like it, you can actually go back and toss a few dollars back as kind of a thank you for giving away this product. Or you can pick up his encounters on the Savage Seas 1 and 2. They're both amazing. I highly recommend checking them out.
I expect everybody to download for free, but if I left it for pay what you want in case people did want to make a little supportive donation. That's fine.
Tip jar.
Do you have any secret plans coming up you could tell us about? Give us a little taste.
Villains and Layers 4, which I won't release too much about that one. I did ask Justin if he'd want to write an NPC for me, so I think we might have a in there for that one. Couple projects I can't talk about that I'm working for other people, and I just have some adventures that I want to get out. Some of my own stuff that I want to write again. I've been talking to Brimley Farr about writing another like a Halloween style adventure.
Ooh.
He's up for it. We're just trying to figure out what route we want to take. Tasha's Kiss did so well. I'm just trying to figure out what's the next one.
Did we ever tell you what we did that one doll in that one adventure?
Yeah, I think I think he was watching when we ran Tasha's. I know we've talked about it with you, but
No, I mean part 2.
Oh,
you mean the Haunt?
Yeah.
That's not Tasha's.
that's Phil Beckwith.
That's Phil.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I got
the
mixed
Haunt.
up. Sorry.
Which is great.
They're both fantastic.
Yeah.
Wait.
I tell you what though, when you write another one, make sure you do something that knocks the balls off people, because I did not see my players did not see the twisting and changing of their backstories as part of that thing. That really is what, in my opinion, really put that game apart, because don't think I've ever seen that before.
It was fun.
And you enjoyed that as players?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I did. I fucking loved it. My player said he loved it. He said that if it was to be towards like a full campaign, he would like a little more warning about it. But since it's in the form of a one-shot, it wasn't a big deal. Even if it was like a chain of a short adventure that's 4 or 5 sessions long, it would be less of a big deal. He said he'd have a little more caution if it was a campaign
Starter, yeah.
Yeah, like if he went in with this big idea for his character in a campaign and then it got changed, he had some more reservations. But he said other than that, because of the nature of the way it's written, he loved it.
Yeah, and that's something that if anybody's running Tasha's Kiss and they're putting it in their actual campaign, that the DM can always scale down if they want to.
Yep.
Not make it such a drastic change or make it something they can work back from. But
I think when I was talking to Troy about it, I mentioned that if something like that happened, you can always use spells that exist or create new quests that help retrieve their lost history or whatever alteration something like that causes. But It was dope, and I loved it. And I would love to see another thing that's earth-shattering like that to the characters. So I do know some characters probably might have some concerns with that. I don't know if you've got any negative feedback
No,
on
so
that, but
far
we
it's
loved
been
it.
getting great reviews and
So
people saying good things about it. So can't complain about that.
all right. Do you have anything else you specifically want to talk about with Encounters of the Savage Seas?
No, thank you everybody for supporting it so far. It's been great. Made my money back, so that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's fun to like I said, I put money into it, yeah, but it's fun to be able to do that, to be able to put that money back into the community and provide somebody with some custom art and maps and things like that. So I really enjoyed being able to pay the writers and the artists the way I wanted to pay them. So
Absolutely.
that wouldn't have happened without customers and supporters like you purchasing my other products.
Yeah, well,
So
keep making awesome shit, and people will keep coming. What is it? The build it and they will come, right? Is that the line?
Field of Dreams.
Yep.
The Guild of Dreams. That's really good. I like that.
Oh my god.
I don't know if I'll ever be on a live podcast again.
Why is that?
My face looks so fat in this.
Well, he does it every week, so.
Oh,
I tell
you
you what.
fucker.
How do you think Tater feels?
What writing a writing career after a full 8-hour day job is not conducive to a healthy weight plan.
Well,
There's like no exercise involved here. I come home, I sit, I write, so I've got to get back on the treadmill.
I was gonna say, is it possible to put your laptop or something up on a treadmill and walk while you do it?
I usually watch like Acquisitions Incorporated or some kind of D&D event if I'm doing that, or listen to podcasts. So
got it. So actually, Brandon's really been tinkering with some different art styles, and I wanted to ask you, as a DM Guild creator, if there was say a monster art pack created, what monsters do you think would is something that's in demand that you don't see a lot of that you wish there was more of?
that's really tough. I mean, right now people are probably looking all over the place for sea creatures. Be them sea monsters or just large, strange-looking fish, whales, sharks, eels. Stuff you can put into a sea campaign. Something I'd like to be able to do is pick out like a pack of, say I want to do some goblins. Okay, I want to do a goblin adventure. I'd like to be able to pick out the same style of art for multiple goblins. So if like you were to put like a pack of 5 or 10 goblins together, different like shaman, ranger, barbarian, that type of thing, and they're all in the same artist style. I think that makes for a more pretty adventure when it's put in the layout, because all your art styles are the same for those characters.
Makes sense.
Giants, whatever like that. There's a lot of, stock art does pretty well on Drive-Thru RPG now, and I think that's because there are so many creators on the DMs Guild that are looking for stock art now. Yeah. You do have the free resources that Wizards of the Coast has provided on the DMs Guild art packs, but if you're looking for something new or original that people aren't using from that, then going the route of putting like 5 or 10 or whatever pieces of art together in a package would be great.
All right, well there you go.
That was all I was thinking about earlier last week.
That's just for you. I did that just for you. I hope you appreciate it.
If you're an artist and you can actually, you can put it out there in a digital format, do it. It's not going to hurt you to do it at all. I mean, you may not make a bunch of money right away, but the more you put out there, just like me, the larger your category of products grows, the more money you're going to make in the long run. Because somebody will say, "Oh, I use this piece from him. This piece looks really cool." Well, let's see because like right now, Dean Spencer put something out there. I'm looking at what Dean Spencer's putting on Drive-Thru RPG because his stuff is cool. I like his stuff. Same with Eric Lofgren. There's just a lot of artists on the Drive-Thru RPG that I follow that I really like their style. So if you can create a following of customers who are liking your style, that's great.
That'd be cool.
So do it.
I did make a sketch for us, but it's in a sketchbook at home.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
All you gotta do is do it. Just do it.
All right.
Awesome.
I think that'll do it for our main topic today. Before we move on to our unearthed tips and tricks, we have another gift to give away. Compliments of Loresmith.
Where are you at? There you are.
Each episode, we will draw another lucky subscriber's name, and they will win the best-selling adventure, The Claws of Madness, Compliments of Loresmith. Loresmith is a small indie team of creative artists who remember exploring the realms together with friends, finding incredible places, and meeting colorful characters along the way. They set out to deliver an experience that sparks those lasting impressions that pushed them to create their first standalone adventure, The Claws of Madness. This best-selling adventure is one that you don't want to miss.
Jeff, who's our winner today?
Our winner today is Arikawas Akiriwas.
That's close
Sorry.
enough to me.
Akariwas.
Go, Jeff!
Yeah, the bubble.
He was like shaking maracas. That's funny. Congratulations, Akiriwas. If you enjoy the adventure, please leave Loresmith a review. Let him know what you like about the product.
And now, what you've all been waiting for. Our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
Such a bitch.
Fuck off. Jeff,
That was good lip syncing too there. by
you
the
like
way.
that? It's almost like I wrote it and somebody else said it.
He does it every week, too.
You named this. You named the character concept. That's awesome.
Is that a problem?
No, that's awesome.
Our character concept today comes from you, Jeff. The Call of Music. Would you like to tell us about this character concept?
Sure. So I've had this idea for a while. I've never gotten to play it. Basically, you've got this character that starts out as, I had originally thought cleric, but I think this works better with barbarian. So he goes 1 or 2 levels in barbarian, only because his parents want him to be a barbarian. I mean, we've all had those things where mom and dad want you to become an accountant or do this and that. They don't want you playing D&D. But do something. Well, in this case, we had the barbarian, but all he really wants to do is sing. So he wants to become a bard instead. So anytime his barbarian abilities are needed, he kind of mumbles and groans, but he does it anyway, because all he really wants to do is sing. This was inspired off of Monty Python, the Holy Grail, I believe it was,
Yep.
where there's the prince, and he doesn't want to be prince-like or like that. He just wants to sing, And so
Stop that.
that's right. Yeah, you got it. So that's where this idea came from. And I thought it'd be a fun character to play, but then you'd also have to think about how is that going to fit within the party, because you don't want to have the party not liking you or your character because you don't do your barbarian duties when you've got that ability to do it. It's like if you were a cleric bard mix, you don't want the bard cleric mix to not heal people because he doesn't want to, but he's a party member, so he needs to do that. But I think you can role play it enough to where you're like, oh, I got to do that again. Okay, go over there, and he could kind of hum or something while he's doing it. I mean, I know bards also have healing word and other healing spells, but still you're kind of role playing that character backstory a little bit. I always thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, I actually, when you sent this to me, I started thinking. We recently just did an episode called 50 Shades of Rage. It was all about reflavoring the barbarian signature ability. And so I was thinking to myself, how would I reflavor the rage so that as he started to come to terms with, okay, I love singing, is there a way I can bring my this other part of my life that I don't like into that sort of bring them kind of together, try to meld them in a way that would make him happy, because he's gonna have to deal with it, even if he is kind of like, oh, I don't wanna be the front tanky guy.
I totally just pictured a barbarian running through a massive enemies yelling, "When the body is at the floor! When the body
Yeah,
is at the floor!"
I'm saying like War, Metallica, Pantera, stuff like that. They start singing that stuff, and
Oh yeah, he starts singing Symphony of Destruction
yep.
as he goes into a rage, and that just to me is a way you can meld that bard aspect with your rage part that he's kind of reluctant to, but if he's got to do it, he might as well have fun doing it, right?
Right.
Actually, with the initial concept pitch, another way I could see you doing it too is your player is a bard, but he has the acolyte background.
Ooh.
that's one way you could do it.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Instead of the multi-class. But I really like the
Yeah.
core idea here. His parents.
There are
want him
options.
I want his parents. He grows up, tells him, "You're gonna go and lead warriors to victory," and he's like, "I want to lead them from the back and inspire them to victory."
Yeah, exactly. So you've got this bard who's all like tattooed up, big and bulky, wearing bear furs, that type of thing, and doesn't even look the part, but that's what he wants to do. He wants to sing.
I like the idea of the wizard bard.
The wizard bard.
He turns his staff into a flute, and his parents don't notice.
Right.
So he's hiding it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious!
Like
Hiding your.
his parents burst in. It's like, where's that coming from? I don't know what you're talking about.
Or
That's
I'm working on
ridiculous.
magic.
Or turn the stuff into a didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo. What is that? That's just my bellow. I'm working on my bellow, Mom. I really like this character concept. I think it seems like it would be a lot of fun. I like the reluctant hero thing, and I think that's something that any character or NPC can play on. So
Son, you're going to be a barbarian. I'm a barbarian. My father's a barbarian. His father's father was a barbarian. And you shall be one too. But Dad!
I'm good. I beat my drums. Does that count?
No!
I want you to beat in flesh. Well, drums are made of flesh. I think that'll do it for our character concept, the call of music.
Can I get the next one?
I suppose.
Our monster variant today is the Pirate Captain. The origin for this one be the spy. Some change we make is you replace the hand crossbow with the pistol from the DMG. And the short sword could be reflavored as ye trusty cutlass. And some new features also include the rigger monkey. The pirate captain has a climbing speed of 30 feet. And ye also have the scurvy dog's dirty tricks. When the pirate captain be attacked with a melee weapon he can see, he can use his reaction to impose a disadvantage on the attack, using a small controlled black powder explosion to flare in the attacker's face before it hits or misses.
Pocket sand!
An attacker that can't be blinded is immune to this feature. And last but most certainly not least, as an innate spell casting ability, the pirate captain uses charisma for this. The pirate captain can cast the following spells requiring no material impulse. Vicious Mockery. Yes, scary dog ain't even worth gullying.
I like that.
I mean, I have fun with that one.
Har.
So right off the gate, Jeff, what is your thoughts on this?
I like it. It sounds like a lot of fun. I like the dirty tricks and definitely the vicious mockery. I think vicious mockery is a fantastic cantrip.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. Actually, in my opinion, because of Vicious Mockery and Bane, I truly believe that the Bard is the best healer in the party, because the best healing is something you don't have to heal.
Yep.
Because yeah, Cure Wounds can heal a little bit, but if that attack would have critted and did 23 damage, no Cure Wounds is gonna fucking fix dead.
Vicious Mockery is where you yell slurs at your enemy and it hurts them.
Yes.
Yes.
Physically, right?
But it also imposes disadvantage on their next attack. So,
I love the chart online where it should what's the source of power for each spellcaster is in D&D. Like source of I draw force the power of my essence through my blood and so on and so forth. And the last one was like the bard. I just insulted a guy and he died. It was weird.
I like this character concept for a couple different reasons. First of all, it fits our theme, our aqua theme that we're running on right now. It brings in an optional item, the pistol from the DMG. It does increase the damage a little bit, putting it closer to the CR2 rating, but I don't think it's enough to be too much of an issue. Where it really shines is the fact that the spy has cunning action, which means it can disengage and dodge and stuff as a bonus action. And it can climb 30 feet with rigging monkey, which basically means it's used to climbing up at a distance. So not only can it disengage from a melee opponent, but it can quickly climb to high areas, giving it the advantage it needs for its sneak attack. In addition, if a person does manage to get in close, it can actually use its reaction when it's hit to basically use the cleric's warding flare and impose disadvantage on the attack, potentially making it so they can't hit the enemy. So it gives him quite a bit more survivability. And of course, I had to give him the shit talking smack once he gets high up there, be like talking a lot of shit. Ah, can't get me, scurvy dogs, whatever. But
Ye be daft if ye think ye can challenge me on me boat.
yeah, I can't do the pirate stuff, but I try.
Har.
R. But this was something.
Aye.
One thing that I really like in my monster variants is ways to make the game more dynamic, and having a character who can not only dodge and bolt around, but can quickly scale obstacles that the players will struggle with unless they can fly. Fucking wing tieflings. It made for a more interesting and dynamic use of the terrain in the game. Plus, pisses off players when they can't hit the fucker. So. Is there any interesting ways you guys could see yourselves using this, Jeff?
Just many ways. I mean, just as somebody taunting them from a ship on the docks, just as they're walking through the shipyard, just somebody standing up in his crow's nest taunting them from above, and I liked it. I like the whole concept.
This I actually came up with this after I got your character concept, then the Monty Python reference, and I just envisioned, instead of the guy being on top of the castle, it's a guy in a crow's nest. Be gone, filthy dogs!
Yep.
What do you want? Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries.
What are you doing up there? Mind your own business.
But that's kind of where I came with this, because I had something else, but this was way more cooler. So, and I don't have a lot of pirate themed monsters in my monster manual. So, though this is the second one that's pirate themes that I made. I think I made a Buccaneer that had like special features from Matt Mercer's Gunslinger. So, I think that'll do it for our monster variant, the Pirate Captain. Our encounter of the podcast is Weathering the Storm. For those of you who don't know, we have finished drafting and writing up our challenge accepted product, which is a skill challenge, a collection of skill challenges. I think there's like 15 or so.
Cool.
Plus there is 3 or 4 complex traps and 5 fantastic terrain. I love the fantastic terrain. I think I put one in here to a couple of them in here as an example. We'll talk about that later. But I decided to grab one of the skill encounters that I put together because it fit the theme. So the roaring tempest rages around the ship and dark thunderheads fill the sky. Oh, nice. It comes with sound effects. The captain's orders barely audible over the wind's din. The sails are raised. They are filled to life like the wings of a rock leaping from a cliff top. Waves erupting onto the bow, sending debris onto deck scattering. The sailors' faces grim, but full of determination. The crackling of thunder and the crashing of waves tosses the ship as if nothing but a leaf in a river. The icy touch of the water, an ill omen to the dangers ahead. So in this skill... Saber says, "Go away or I shall taunt you a second time." So this is basically, I love skill challenges so much. I think they're great ways to get across non-combat encounters. In this case, the characters are sailing the high seas, either as part of a temporary travel to a particular destination, or maybe they own a vessel and are forced to travel when the high storm is, supposed to hit. But whatever happens, they really have no choice but to travel on. The skill challenge will test their mettle on piloting the ship during the storm. During a storm unlike anything they've witnessed before. Manning the sails, navigating with limited visibility, and most importantly, staying on the vessel's deck.
This is why I don't go on the ocean.
So now I'm not going to go into all the details of the skill challenge, but it's a complexity 3, which means the group as a whole needs 8 successes before 3 failures. And then in our skill challenges, there is total success, which means you don't get any failures. There's success, and then there's failure. Yeah, it's not easy, but it gives you quite a different... There's punishments if you don't. So, and so there's kind of a success range, right? A range of success. So the way it works out is the DM has us behind behind the screen and is setting up the encounter as we just did, and he might call, "Hey Brandon, give me an acrobatics check." Or some DMs like to put the hand more in the hands of the players and say, "What do you want to do?" and kind of give them that control. For me, I prefer to narrate in this situation. So, the storm is bashing into the boat. It's tossing you side to side. Brandon, give me an acrobatics check. As the storm rocks the boat back and... What'd you get on your acrobatics check?
And a 10.
All right, so as the storm rocks back and forth, the massive swells send gallons of water onto the deck,
Yeah, no
creating
shit.
slick surfaces, causing you to slide about left and right. Fortunately, you're able to keep yourself from flying overboard. I'm sorry, I missed what you said, Jeff.
I said he sucks.
It's a source word. Dexterity's dump stat.
So then what it does is it gives you have a DC, you have set conditions. In this case, if he succeeded, that's 1 success against of the 8 needed, and then you kind of move on. If he fails, there's a fail condition. This one says see overboard. Then he falls overboard, and then there's a whole
Oh no!
a whole section for dealing with overboard, including drowning. And constitution saves to help you survive. So I really like being able to run an encounter like this, and having it in a very fleshed out manner, just like any other combat style encounter.
There's a reason why during a storm, sailors tie themselves to the boat.
Exactly right.
So once you've got so many successes, let's assume so if the party gets a total success and nobody fails any checks, which doesn't happen very often, I'm gonna be honest, but if that happens, the characters successfully navigate the terrible storm, and the crew and the vessel are intact and arrive at their destinations with little problem. But let's say they success and they had a little bit of trouble. Maybe somebody went overboard, maybe a rigging broke, and there's details of that in the encounter here. The characters successfully navigate the storm. The crew is safe, but there's severe damage to the vessel, and it barely manages to reach its destination. The crew suffers level of exhaustion from the wind tossing them around, debris on the ship bashing into them while they're trying to get everything under control and shout out directions and pilot through the nasty swells. But what happens if they fail the challenge? The characters are unsuccessful in navigating the tumultuous storm. The ship is knocked off course and runs ashore on a small, undiscovered island with cannibal natives. And
You forgot typing the next sentence.
Yeah, well, I must not have copied it all.
The characters, blank.
Yeah, the
are
characters
screwed.
actually suffer levels of exhaustion in addition to that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to this. It's very big. You can find the whole thing on our show notes, but...
I think it's funny because I was looking at the primary skills used for it.
Mhm.
And the top one says acrobatics, and it says that's a hard DC. And I'm going, well, no shit, of course it is. That my very first thought was someone up on the mast looking at the other mast saying, okay, I'm going to attempt to jump from this mast to that mast. It's like, okay,
a
you
bad
roll,
idea.
you fail, and midair as you jump, the ship hits a rogue wave, and the mast that you're aiming for is no longer where it was. So you just fall straight into the
No,
ocean.
no.
Jeff, what do you think about this?
I like this whole setup, man. So you putting the book together with this stuff?
Yes.
When's that coming out?
As soon as JVC Perry is done editing and laying it
Gotcha.
out for me.
No, this is really cool. I could definitely see myself using something like this.
The only thing I was really kind of concerned about is in the book, you see it says hard DC and medium DC. I tried to keep it so it could be easily scaled, so there's like a reference chart. But a couple people said I should have just put some solid DCs on there. But I was like, well, what if they want to do it at level 1 versus level... And I didn't consider
That's true.
doing a scale thing like you did, so I put kind of like a template that says, this is what the DCs are in the book, and we give you a reference point, and you can change those numbers as much as the DM wants. So.
At the beginning, you might put a disclaimer in that in the credits or in the description section that says, "Hey, what we've written is just suggestion only. As a DM, make the changes as you want.
Ooh,
If
that's
you want
good.
to scale it, down as far as your players, you just want to put them through something and make sure they're still gonna pass. Change the DC. It's no big deal.
The
Yeah.
code is less an actual set of laws as much as they are guidelines.
Right, exactly. Exactly right.
But
But no, this is really great. I mean, to have all this written out. I mean, this is also encounter adventure inspiring right here. Just reading through this stuff. So great stuff.
well, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
You guys got any points on this? Comments?
Yep.
Nothing?
I think we have it locked down pretty good.
Yeah, I do apologize. There was a lot more to that than I usually put on here, but I really wanted to showcase off this kind of thing that I'm working on. So that's
No.
kind of actually done. So it's editing. I even got all the art. Man, I wish I could afford to pay for more art. How is the cover coming?
I just told you.
It's a sketch?
It's a sketch.
You
It's
should
in
send
my
that to me.
Ugh.
That's a sketch.
All right, that'll do it for our encounter of the podcast, Weathering the Storm.
Yeah.
Brandon, would you like to tell us about our magic item? I love this magic item.
I will take
was
this magic item.
I was cracking up when I was reading this shit.
Because it's hilarious. It's called the peg leg boots.
Where it came right from the Encounters of
from
the
the-
Savage Seas.
Right from the
Yep,
encounters
from
of
the
the
first
Savage
book.
Seas.
Yep.
It is a wondrous item, and it is rare, and it requires attunement. These boots are black leather and calf high with a silver buckle along outside of each. While you wear these boots, you have advantage on charisma ability checks and saving throws while on a ship, an island, or coastal settlement. In addition, your base movement speed is reduced by 5. 5 feet. Why? Because it's cursed.
Isn't it technically just 1 foot?
It's cursed. Cursed. These boots are cursed, and becoming attuned to them extends the curse to you. Once attuned to the boots, you can't remove them unless you are targeted by a remove curse spell or similar magic. While wearing these boots, your right leg twists and contorts into a wooden peg leg.
I love it. A magic item that gives you
Fish paste.
a wooden peg leg.
Yep.
I was reading this. I was like, oh my God, I have to use that.
And when they find the boots, they're 2 boots. You know, they don't know about the curse because the guy that was wearing them is dead, and so they're just 2 boots now. So
Does that mean the right boot just falls off?
I don't know.
no, it just turns into a wooden peg
That'd be
leg.
great because you're telling your parties like, my right leg is a peg leg now. Like, you gotta be lying to us. You're wearing a boot. Like, you want to look. Okay, so you can't look inside. You just gotta trust me.
So I imagine the whole boot like transforms.
Yeah, the whole boot transforms into the peg leg. Yeah.
Oh,
So So when you die, then it reverts back to the boot.
'Cause it's not
But
attuned
while
to
you're
it.
wearing it twists and turns your leg into a peg leg.
you know what would be amazing if someone went to go cut the peg leg off in hopes to remove the curse, and the other leg goes whoosh and turns into a peg leg.
Oh no! I thought this was really cool because to give them a magic item and then say here's all the, and I think we talked about this on one of our episodes. If I gave this to a player, I would give them just a card that had all the normal stats on it, and then when they put it on,
You'd give 'em
I
another
would give
card.
them another card with the curse.
Right. Yep.
That way they're not aware, because then they can make the decision to try it on. Because really, in my opinion, unless you use like some sort of spell to detect, does actually there's no spell that actually detects cursed items, is there?
I don't think there's anything that tells you what that curse is.
Right. Which makes sense because you don't want.
Let me
pl-
double check that.
You don't want to play. Well, I think when we had the guys on the Artifacts of the Guild on, they mentioned that there's no way to really detect cursed magic items, or at least the details of it.
Right.
And otherwise players would never actually use cursed items. And I think that's where we came with the 2 split card idea. Actually, that was Gabe that came up with that, I think. But
And this one's fun too. I mean, you
Hell
get
yeah, it is.
you get some stuff if you're on a ship or something like that, and then it's a big role play for sure.
yeah,
I mean,
and that's something. If anybody that listens to the show knows that I love roleplay, and this just so if I put the boots on my hand, does one of my hands turn into a peg arm?
it very well might. Yeah.
See, now that's the kind of shit that I would try once I knew. Well, you can't take it off, so I guess I.
That's why one of my favorite curse ones was the one with the sword, where if you pick it up, you can't let it go. It just stays on you. You can't drop it.
That'll do it for our magic item, the peg leg boots from Encounters of the Savage Seas. You guys got to pick this shit up. There are so many other amazing magic items in that product. Jeff, would you like to take our Dungeon Master tip?
Yeah. Let me get on the right page. Dungeon Master tip is okay. Fantastic terrain. The world of D&D is full of magic, monsters, and divine power. These wondrous sources can cause fantastic terrain to form. Chaotic energies can suffuse the air with a powerful planar portal was once opened, sending random bursts of uncontrolled magic into all directions. Powerful ritual circles can enhance the effect of dark magic of an evil wizard, or a chamber flooded with water could dampen the effects of fire magic.
So we got a couple examples. Now I mentioned earlier that we're releasing the challenges accepted. The next product that I'm already drafting is Fantastic Terrain. So I added a couple of those. I totally stole a move from Draconics, where at the end he's like, for his skill talents, I think he put his monster talents at the end, and then like coming soon. So I'm gonna try one of those jazzes. But I took a couple of the simpler ones that I have in the hopes that you guys will be able to get inspire you to create your own Fantastic Terrain. Jeff, would you like to tell us about those?
Yeah, the Defiled Ground. This is the site of a dark necromancer's powerful ritual, or an area of or an area of ceremonial sacrifice. The stench of death fills the area, attracting spirits of the dead. A creature who stands in an area of defiled ground and casts a necromancer spell increases the effect as it casts the spell at one level higher than the slot used, up to 9th level. Well, that's kind of cool.
What do you think about that?
Neat.
I like that.
That's an active terrain that actually boosts a specific style of spell. So if you're fighting that necromancer, not only is he attacking with these types of magics, but if the players discern that where he's standing is amplifying him, they have a reason to want to kind of try to move him out of the way. Or if you've got a necromancer, kick him out of the way and put him there,
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty cool.
Indeed.
What's the other one there, boss?
Next one is Grab Grass. Grab Grass is thick and tough tendril-like dark blue and green plants often found in the forests of the Feywild, or areas that are heavily influenced by the Feywild's magic bleeding into the material world. A creature that falls prone in an area filled with grab grass must succeed on a medium DC strength check to stand up.
Basically, you got little tendrils that just wrap around people as they fall. So putting them in a fighting up against enemies that knock people to the ground can quickly incapacitate your enemy, your party pretty quickly. What do you think about this, Jeff?
That's cool too. It's fun stuff.
Yeah. What about
Sounds
you?
terrifying. Is that just when you go prone?
to throw in anything that the players aren't going to expect, and try to come up with this stuff on your own. It's fun. It's fun to do. It can take some time to come up with it on your own. But if you've got a book of this stuff, this is great.
Yeah. Would you use something like this in your games?
Sure. Yeah, especially the Defiled Ground. That's great.
Yeah. What do you think, Ian?
It is really neat.
I was gonna say the grab grass only works if you fall prone, though, right?
Yes. I mean, you could also say that it could be difficult terrain if you wanted, but I didn't include that.
Yeah, I mean, you could always add to make it extra difficult, make it difficult terrain or something like that. But I mean, I'm curious to see more of these.
I'm trying to remember. There was a monster variant we made where its primary ability was to knock people prone.
Yes, I don't remember which one. I've made a few that knock people prone, but I know what you're talking about.
And put that one on a plane of grab grass.
Yeah, so Fantastic Terrain really can enhance combat. There's one thing that makes combat so much more engaging, and that's when you find a way to utilize the environment that you're engaged in. And different Fantastic Terrain is not the mundane stuff. Oh, there's a chandelier they can knock down. That's I consider that terrain, right? That's common terrain. But Fantastic Terrain, maybe you've got an elemental storm that is crackling with lightning and thunder, so any thunder or lightning spells in the area are similar to the Defiled Ground and cast one level up. It enhances the game in a way that forces the characters to think. Or maybe you've got Hallowed Ground, where all healing spells are amplified while you're in that area, and the players are fighting enemies who are utilizing that to their advantage, making it harder, maybe even to the point where it's damn near impossible to just outright kill the enemies while they're engaged in this particular area. I think a lot of those things can really add to the game, especially when the players now have to figure out how the fuck do I get them out of here so that they stop getting this huge ash bonus, and how can I leverage that to make my party better. At least that's what I think. But
You've inspired me with this stuff. That's great stuff.
Well, we do hope to provide guidance and inspiration to both players and DMs. But that's the plan. So that is another product that is in the drafting phase right now, and I've got like 10 of these things right now. So keep an eye out.
Cool.
That'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast. Our player tip of the podcast is Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
There we go. I love that he's been on and he just knows everything. It works a lot easier that way. Today's player, you can avoid dickitude by doing your arcane studies.
This was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Control magic submersible. So, I've seen a lot of characters use underwater breathing to go underwater and breathe. You know, that's pretty common. I've never seen a player use control water in a way to create pretty much a submersible, a submarine. Our friend Mira masterfully used control magic by combining the part the water feature in it with the whirlwind and redirect flow features. Basically, she put a boat into the water and then started spinning with the whirlpool, creating a whirlpool around her boat with the water split, creating like a tiny bubble, and created a small submersible so they could go hunt for giant clams for the material component they needed for the scry spell.
It was freaking awesome, yet freaking scary at the same time.
Yeah, well, and so keep in mind, control water is a concentration spell. So when they ran into something they thought was a clam and turned out to be a giant crab, and it started just whacking at them,
Don't cock up your concentration.
she barely made the concentration check. So
Because we were how many hundreds of feet underwater?
very far.
1,000 feet.
Yeah.
And
It's good that you did that.
what's that?
It's good that you made her do a concentration check on that. It adds a whole lot to the game.
Oh yeah, I was waiting
whole
for
lot
the
of pucker
fucking thing to
factor.
collapse and like what'd you say, a butthole puckering moment?
Pucker factor.
Yep, Pucker. Yep.
Pucker factor.
Because then we would have already had 2 dead players if that happened.
But I'll be honest, I didn't know you could do this with control water until we actually started reading through it, and everything that she did really fell in line with what the spell is intended to do. And it was really interesting. The only concern I had was the damage to the vessel from the whirlwind effect, because the whirlwind does damage. While the boats in the DMG have like a damage threshold, and since it wasn't over that, even the constant battering from the whirlpool didn't actually hurt the vessel. So it was a really interesting experience and a very clever use of the spell. It's honestly, I'm pretty sure it's like maybe the only second time I've ever seen the use of the control water spell. I think she used it previously to flood the area after they were in a giant's kitchen and they spilled the stew, and then she used the stew to harness the control water and flooded the area.
You know,
But
she's like, are we all taller than the goblins? Yeah. Okay. She raised the water level of the soup and we all just drowned them.
Awesome. Good thinking.
So, what do you think about the use of this there, Jeff? Have you ever seen any clever uses of this spell similar to this or anything like that?
I have never seen any use like this of this spell. It's fantastic. She did a great job.
It's very
but
awesome.
This is also coming from a person who likes to think outside the box and break the game.
Yeah, that's true. Not only is she outside the box, she's outside the room. Makes my life interesting, that's for sure. In fact, this is probably like the 3rd or 4th spell player tip I've taken. So
Another part that really drove me nuts was, since the clamshell's basically made of calcium, does shape stone work on it?
Oh my god.
man, that was breaking my brain. Do you ever bring real life physics into your game, Jeff?
No.
Yeah, I was trying so hard. I'm like, it's not what the spell does.
Yeah,
But yet
it's
it
so hard to
does,
do
But
that.
for the flavor, the concept of what was happening, he allowed it because it was awesome.
But
I would agree. I would probably have allowed it.
I knew it was going to go farther than that, though, because it started first with her crafting a boat out of, because they were underway.
Coral.
Out of coral, basically. So they're underway in the maelstrom on the Storm King's Thunder, and she basically pulled out of the wall. So first of all, the giants are pissed because she's destroying their wall, making a boat. And then secondly, I was like, oh man, this is gonna come back and bite me in the ass. And sure as shit, the damn clam was covered in this shit. So then she turned it into like interior spikes and like ran. I'm like, son of a bitch, I knew I shouldn't have let you do that.
Turned the clam into
Its own
an
spike
Iron
trap.
Maiden.
An Iron Maiden,
On
that's
itself.
right. I was like, shit. Of course, she damaged the She damaged the jewel,
The pearl.
the pearl, but then just mended it. Goddamn mending. So, do we have any other points on this? I thought this was an awesome use of this spell, and I wanted to share what you could be
It's
doing.
fantastic usage.
was.
So that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by ensuring you do your arcane studies, master that control water, and make yourself a submersible. Wow, I think that'll do it for our show today. Before we close out, we have one more gift to give away. Compliments of you,
Was-
Mr. Jeff Stevens.
Was the boat yellow?
I don't fucking know.
A small village,
You got it.
empty of villagers except for one boy, found sitting and weeping next to a jester's pageant wagon. The boy explains that the villagers, including his family, followed a jester into the wagon and never came out. What madness could the adventurers face? Can they save the villagers? Or will they go mad trying? Can you survive the madhouse of Tasha's kiss?
God.
I love that. I hope you do, Jeff.
It's great.
Lee's awesome. He's good like that.
Jeff, who's our winner today?
The winner today is DM Natural One.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to
Move it! You know, when you put that shit in there, it censors it on YouTube. I have to go through and like change out the segments. Yeah, it's really picky. Congratulations, DM Natural One. We hope you enjoy the adventure. We know we absolutely love it. And make sure if you do to leave Jeff Stevens a review. Let him know what you think about the product. You would like that, wouldn't you, Jeff?
Love that. Love hearing that stuff.
Do you get any? Do you have? I mean, does anybody actually come and giving you a review from us? They probably don't even say, do they?
Probably
I
not.
wouldn't
Yeah, I was
imagine.
listening to Critic Academy and they said I should review you.
So here's a review and a 5 stars.
I think sometimes they'll say like I won this on Crit Academy and something. And
Oh,
leave
okay.
something.
That's cool. Tell them Crit Academy sent you.
At least we're doing something.
Wow. Before we close out here, Jeff, do you want to give yourself one more plug?
Sure. I mean, you can find all my stuff on the DMs Guild. Just look up Jeff Stevens. I think it all shows up under. But I think I've got if you look up Encounters on the Savage, you'll find all my encounters. And I think all my Encounters on the Savage series will pull up. Check out Villains and Layers 3 free. So pull up Villains and Layers and look for the free version if you want to give that a shot. I've also got an Otterfolk race out there that's free if you want to give that a shot too. So
cute.
go check out my products and have some fun.
Yes. If you're joining us for the first time, we actually had a wonderful interview with you before in regards to Villains and Layers, so you can go back and find that episode. They're not episode numbers anymore, so I don't know which number it is, but you'll have to go look. Just type in, go to criticacademy.com, click on episodes, and type it in. You'll find it. It's fantastic. Actually, I'm pretty sure if you Google Villains in the Lair and Crit Academy, it comes up in Google search.
Nice.
Nice.
So, also, can they find you on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that?
More active on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at jcorvin, CORVIN STEVENS. So J Corvin Stevens.
All right.
Corvin.
Worst
That's such a
Twitter
dope
handle
name.
ever.
The worst Twitter handle ever? It's not.
Worst Twitter. It should have been like at Jeff Stevens Games or something like that. Instead of.
You
And
can't.
I know when I first started this whole gig that I would have done things differently, but
You can't like message them and say, "Hey, can I change this shit?"
I'm not gonna try. I'm
No.
gonna screw up on my followers. And everything.
Like I used to have, 700 followers. Now I've got me. One guy, Crit Academy. That's it. All right. Please join us on our next episode where we will be discussing the art of war. Special guest MT Black will be joining us.
I cracked up reading that supplement.
Oh my God, it's so amazing.
They took the Sun Tzu's Art of War and rewrote it in D&D terms.
It's fantastic. He did a fantastic job. I love the art in that too. The shadowy box look.
The silhouettes.
Silhouettes. Thank you.
Yeah.
So have you had the pleasure of working with MT Black yet, there, Jeff?
Oh yeah. MT and I used to talk quite a bit in 2016 because there weren't as many guild creators at that time, so we talked back and forth, chatted back and forth. He's written for the first Villains and Layers, I think, and just we've been in contact quite some time. Great guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I'm excited to have him on.
I'm excited to listen to that one.
Me too. If you have any feedback, unearthed tips and tricks, and topics you would like us to discuss, please send them to us. You can email us at critacademy@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Facebook at Crit Academy.
We hope you've enjoyed your experience here at the Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a hopefully 5-star review on iTunes or platform of your choice, or just send us a message telling us how much you enjoy the show.
And also, be sure to give us a like and a share.
If you would like to support the show, not only do we have a plethora of awesome DMs Guild products, our most recent release is the War Chanter, which is so much fun to play. If you want to play a character who literally tells people what to do when it's not their turn and let them attack, please check it out. It's a lot of fun. And a bard with a spear or a halberd is just dope as hell. We have our Unearthed Tips and Tricks and our Brawler. Our Brawler is silver, and our Gun Mage is like 3 sales away from silver, I think, and so is our
Awesome.
UTT. So definitely,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. No platinum. Have you got anything up to the what's the highest it goes? There's only a few
There's
that are adamantine.
Mithril and Adamantine.
Adamantine, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a long way away from making sales there. But
I've got Mithril, but I don't have Adamantine
yeah,
yet.
it's a very small percentage that are at that adamantine level.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out. And, of course, as we mentioned, watch out for our upcoming product called Challenge Accepted, with collections of skill challenges adapted from 4E, one of the hidden gems of 4E.
We went through so many proposals for names for that one.
Yeah, there was a lot. I actually really wanted Unearthed skill challenges and tie it into our Unearthed Tips and Tricks, but the social media spoke and said, "F you, that's stupid. We're going with challenge accepted." So
Although I did love it, Brendan's suggestion. It said like, what was it?
Skill challenge?
Only the S was in like brackets.
so it
So
said
it's
kill.
an S kill challenge?
So
Yeah.
were you gonna say something, Jeff?
No, sir.
Okay. Brandon also takes commissions, full body color art and shoulder line art. You can find the pricing there on Facebook. So make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com and follow us on twitch.tv/critacademy and subscribe on YouTube so we can help you on your future adventures, as well as be entered to win cool prizes each and every week. Thanks to awesome people like Jeff and Benoit and Chris, all of our awesome sponsors. Definitely check out Cobalt Press's products. You can go to critacademy.com/cobaltpress. And make sure to check out our fellowship members. Huge shout out to Interparty Conflict. I absolutely love Gabe and Jeff. They're one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. Those guys are awesome. They answer your questions in a much more professional manner than we ever will. So if you want constructive assistance, go to them, not us.
It's not high bar.
It's true. D&D Character Lab are pretty awesome. Dan and Garen over there create intricately built characters with full backstories, and then pretty much just argue whose baby's better in a battle of wits, like some real bards, which is pretty awesome.
Mine?
And of course, Brute Force and Ignorance. If you'd like to check out an actual play, those guys are awesome. They're a little on hiatus at the moment, but their content is still up, so go and check them out. And of course, check out Jeff Stevens' content. His stuff is amazing. Your stuff is amazing, dude. You do phenomenal work. You've got some pro level writers with you, and it's just all fantastic.
Appreciate that a lot.
I'm-
That's other than sales are great, but hearing that is even better. So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
The only thing that I'm sad is that we recorded an episode of us streaming on our Patron Pals or our extra credit Patreon game where we ran your Dragon's Breath Tavern,
Yeah.
and it was one of my single most enjoyable roleplay nights ever, and it got deleted by Twitch, and I'm so devastated.
Yeah.
That's a good adventure too.
Yeah, I love it. So
Oh, I played Thorg for that one.
you did. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your guest, Jeff Stevens.
I'm your co-host.
Thanks for listening. Oh wait, go ahead.
Brandon.
Are we doing co-hosts? They're not listed here, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm your co-host. Shut the fuck up.
You don't matter.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
And I'd be your co-host, in the wood.
Thanks for listening.
Do you want to sign us off, Jeff?
Yep. Keep your blades sharp and your spells prepared, heroes.
That wasn't bad. I give you some good credit for that.
Very nice.
All right. Well, that'll be our show for today. So let us go ahead and wave to the camera as we run the closing video. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a good one.